All right, welcome back. Another episode of the Rough Rigs podcast. Back with a special guest, friend of the show, VJ.
It's good to be back.
You need your mic, mate.
Oh, yeah, shit. The last shows how long it's been that I forget you need a mic for a podcast. But I mean, I'm
Tends
keen
to
to be
help.
back.
Tends to help.
Got the mic, let's go. No Mitch?
No, Mitch, he's busy.
Yeah.
Busy man these days.
Yeah, he's been floating around.
Yeah.
Doing Mitch things.
Doing
planning,
his things.
Well, he's got planning his wedding.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one thing. I think he's working tonight as well.
Yeah.
Playing cricket. I mean, he's juggling a lot.
Doing it all.
Yeah.
What can't he do? Is the question that people are asking.
Well, it's probably a few things he
Probably
can't.
Anyway.
Score a quick 50.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
we'll get into that. But,
Take wickets. Couldn't do that, could he?
That's true.
It's not for everyone taking wickets, but we did play cricket on the weekend.
Yeah, we did.
First game back in our winter LMS.
Yeah,
So,
long awaited.
long awaited.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I've been playing through the summer season.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a come down from that. I mean, we had two chances to make the grand final for my summer team.
Yeah.
And lost both. So 'cause we get the double chance from coming second, so we lost both and got kicked straight out, which is a bit disappointing. And then the week after, I'm back into grading games. You know, it never stops. LMS.
Cricket never stops.
They need their fee, their match
Doesn't
fees.
stop. No, not for anyone.
Yeah.
So yeah, first game back.
Yeah.
Pretty good performance from us.
Yeah,
Or
pretty
we-
routine thrashing, really.
Just,
I mean, that's
just getting
insane.
on with the job.
Yeah.
No mucking around.
Won by how much?
I don't know.
60,
a lot.
70 or something. Yeah.
60.
Yeah, I mean.
We batted first.
Yeah.
Scored. I don't know. 200. Felt like it.
Yeah, I think it was something like that.
Around
yeah.
there. Good 50 from Mike, friend of the show.
Yeah. Congrats, Mike.
Daniel Dello got 48, got run out. That was fun.
Yeah.
No one else. Did anyone else? Oh,
Well, you came in at the end and scored
yeah. 8 off 2.
a 10 of 2, just finished it.
That's it. Just they're calling me MS Dhoni.
Yeah. The finisher.
Finisher. And then, but where the real, I guess, game turning thing was our opening bowling was just a class above.
Yeah,
I think
Well, half of them. one of the two opening bowlers did very well.
it was just a strong opening bowling partnership.
It's a partnership. You bowl in partnerships, right? You win together, you
Yeah.
lose together.
So I opened the bowling.
Yeah.
Which was good. Not the first time actually. I did that last game I played. Opened the bowling as well.
Yeah, it's basically an opening bowler then.
Yeah, that's it. Got good form. So I got 2 wickets. I was on a hat trick.
Yeah.
Didn't quite get it, but it was close.
Pretty close to it, actually.
It was close, yeah.
Like he played a miss.
Played a
sort
miss.
of snicked the ground as well.
Yeah.
I mean, on another day.
Came off the pad.
Yeah.
Could have
Yeah.
been an LBW if it was at the stumps, but not to be.
Yeah. I mean,
Never been on a hat trick before. I didn't know what I was doing.
you should have gone for the stumps, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to bounce him and then
Yeah.
bowled just a bit rubbish, but
Yeah, good stuff. 2 wickets for you. I was also on a hat trick at one point as well.
Yeah.
And then did pretty much the same as you. Tried to go for the stumps and went outside off.
Yeah.
Play and miss. Could on another day you get a nick and get the hat trick. I haven't got a hat trick in my life, really. I mean,
Backyard cricket.
No, actually. I mean, I don't know. Probably, actually. I don't know. But I think in backyard cricket, you take a couple of wickets, you usually just give the ball to someone else.
Yeah,
right?
you don't normally get the chance for a hat trick, do you?
Yeah.
You take one and you're kind of off.
Yeah. I mean, that's if you
Well,
can take one.
You normally bat. Like
Yeah, it's all about the batsman.
if you take the wicket,
Yeah.
you normally go into bat. So
I remember primary school, I mean, you take wickets and sometimes the kid just refuses to leave.
yeah, that's it.
One time one guy scored 400 for 5. Like over a whole week of lunch breaks. And he just couldn't get the guy to leave, you know.
Just got to bowl better.
Yeah. I mean,
Bowl better lines.
We got him out. But he's holding the bat. Just can't get it out of him. And,
Yeah. Anyway, let's get on to the footy.
yeah. Big week of footy. Good
big
week.
week.
Good week of
Plenty of upsets.
I would say one of the best rounds of footy I've seen in a while, really.
Yeah.
The matches that were there.
Every game was kind of, well, most of them were kind of, down to the wire
Yeah.
for a lot of the game.
And not just down to the wire, like you had epic finishes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get like a scrappy, like 16-12 kind of game, but these were proper
Yeah,
good games.
Yeah, no, I think, as we get further into the season, I guess the mistakes that we've seen the earlier rounds, they've kind of, gotten a lot better and a bit more polished, I think. So, but yeah, first game of the round, your Sharkies.
Yeah.
We lose Mitch, who's obviously a Sharkies fan, and we gain another one.
Yeah,
So
can't run away from us. But
24-20. The Raiders, what a finish that was.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
you talk about finishes and, great finishes to games. That was one of the best ones
I mean, hats off.
I've ever seen.
You got to give credit where it's due.
Yeah.
It was an amazing try. I think
Ricky liked it.
The scramble defense from the Sharks was fine. I mean, like, they just scrambled.
Yeah.
They just played through.
Yeah.
They've got some good attacking players. Hudson Young makes a good break.
Yeah.
I mean, he played the kick. He played the kick through. And they scored. I mean, what can you do?
Yeah. It was not a great bounce for him.
Yeah, there's a bounce that I think Ronaldo or one of the wingers would have had covered if it was a normal bounce, and it just goes like 5 meters backwards straight into the... Those are the things that happens, and then watch what it will happen 2 weeks later. The Raiders will get a bad bounce, and Ricky will be saying it always happens to us. We never have any luck. But here, when it happens, he never says that it was luck.
Yeah, no. His team earned the luck.
Yeah, his team earned it. But good on the Raiders. They were written off. They were written off a bit.
Yeah, he was still having a go at the ref.
He'll always have a go at the ref.
Even when they won.
Can you name a more detestable coach in NRL history?
Jeff Toohey.
But I mean, Jeff Toohey's lovable though. Like, he has that. This needs an investigation thing. You want to give the guy a hug, not punch him in the face. But Ricky Stewart. Yeah. Unless you're from Canberra and support the Raiders, pretty much hate.
Yeah,
he's pretty much universally hated. Really, the clubs he's ruined.
Yeah, as a Parramatta fan, he didn't help Parramatta when he coached
didn't help the Sharks
for those 3 weeks that he coached for us.
Yeah,
got rid of all our players and then just fucked off.
Yeah, that's his usual operation. But that was a good game.
I thought the Sharks were a little bit lazy with their effort on that last play.
Yeah.
I thought when Hudson Young, he made that break and he got the offload away.
Yeah.
A lot of the players on that left-hand side, as soon as the ball started going right, they kind of stopped.
True.
And then when they got that bounce and then there was the...
Xavier
Savage on the inside. There was no cover support. Hazelden was the only one kind of going there, but everyone else was just the ones that missed the tackle on Hudson Young were just kind of laying on the ground watching the whole thing instead of like getting up and chasing and being that cover defense. Not saying they would have stopped him, but
still, like, the effort. I mean, like, Paul Gowan would have come all the way from Brisbane to defend that try.
Yeah, no,
need more Paul Gowan kind of.
I'd be as a Shark. If I was a Sharkies fan, I'm not, thankfully.
Yeah.
But if I was, I'd be disappointed with that effort.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, because I just think that, as soon as that ball started going right, there's a lot of players that kind of just dropped off and gave up and stopped chasing and stopped putting it in and just kind of was waiting for the tackle to be made or the ball to go out or, whatever happens. But when that ball came back inside for the support play, there was no one there. So
true. I mean, like, compare that to the Storm Sharks grand final and the scramble
that's
there.
It.
And you had like that Mick Ennis making that. You need that sometimes.
And you look at like the top teams and, Penrith over the last 4 years, they've had their troubles this year, but one thing that they've always had is that scramble and that effort and, not giving up. So I think that's something that the Sharks really need to fix going forward if they want to really compete with those top sides and be there at the back end of the year. You can't be having those lapses in defence and those effort areas. So that's my thoughts.
Yeah. But I mean, that's when you have a Thursday game. You sort of forget about that Thursday game. It feels almost like in the previous round. Well, I wanted to forget about it.
What are your thoughts on Thursday night?
I don't mind it.
Yeah.
I mean, selfishly, I don't mind that extra sort of like day of footy.
Yeah.
And maybe if that game gets pushed into like a Saturday or Sunday, it sort of gets lost in between. I did like having that extra game on... Where was the game before Sunday? It's like maybe you have that 2 p.m. game more. I didn't mind that 2 p.m. slot.
Yeah.
Monday night, that wasn't a vibe at all, really.
See, I love Monday night footy. Yeah.
You did?
I loved it.
Yeah.
Just getting home from school or work.
True, actually.
And then you've had a shit day, start of the week, you're back there, but it's like something to look
At least
forward
it's still a little bit of weekend left over. Yeah, true, actually. I think maybe the issue there was more the teams not liking to play on Monday, and then if you have to back up,
Yeah.
because it kind of ruins the whole. But at least Thursday you can sort of play it. It's the same thing, really.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Just get them both.
Yeah.
Well, if they bring another team in, you probably get another game, whether they put an extra game on a Sunday or whether they go back to Monday night footy.
And where do you put the PNG games now? When teams are going to have to fly in and all that. That's going to be a mess at some point. We'll cross that bridge.
That's a different issue that I could talk on for a long time. I don't understand how they kind of got the gig, or I understand how the government's paying for them, but
don't want to get China into PNG. You get a whole show about that.
I think in terms of what's best for the NRL, I don't know if that's growing the game.
Yeah. I mean, it's not it seems to be more than an NRL thing. Yeah, really.
I just don't know how they're going to get talent up there. Like obviously there's talent in PNG, but I don't know how you're going to get Australian players going to PNG, your marquee players. To live there.
You're going to have to, what you have to do probably is stretch their salary cap, I think. It's like how Sydney, I think they still do in AFL, and people aren't happy with this, but they have an extra sort of cost of living allowance. You're going to probably have to have that for PNG. And players, if they're offered more money, money will talk for a lot of players. You might not be getting like the clearance.
Well, they won't get taxed on it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, true. So money will talk for a lot of those mid-range players. Yeah. Then you probably have to build a squad of mid-range. You might not get that absolute marquee, but
yeah. I don't think you're going to get too many players with families though that are going up to live at Port Moresby. Yeah, but unless they base out of,
you could base out of Queensland.
Yeah,
and then just like go for games and stuff. But then training, where do you train?
Yeah,
it's going to be a bit of a headache.
Wait and see what happens there. But anyway, next game Friday 6 p.m. Panthers. Cowboys, big upset here. The Cowboys 22-18. Did not see that one coming.
I definitely did not see this coming.
I thought Panthers were absolute certainties for this one.
But I think now it's starting to become clear that the Panthers are on the probably decline, but you can't rule them out yet, obviously.
There's just a lot of like uncharacteristic errors and mistakes and, things like that, undisciplined things that we haven't seen from them for probably 5 years. Yeah. That are creeping into their game. So
they had enough of the ball, enough of this game to win this game quite comfortably.
I still think as long as Cleary's there, they're always going to be tough to beat. But yeah, I'm just worried about the little effort areas and how big of a loss Luai is. That was my concerns. Not so much him as a player, because I think his actual NRL ability is pretty easily, or not easily, but it's replaceable. Yeah. But I think he's what he brings outside of footy, that energy and that culture. I think they lose a lot when they lose him.
True. You see what he's added to the Tigers.
Yeah.
But I think the main thing with Panthers is that playing at CommBank. You saw even with a milestone game for Isaiah Yeo. Yeah. Only 10K people there.
It was disappointing to see that crowd. Like, I don't know. If you're a Panthers fan, like get out and
I mean,
it's not that far of a drive from Penrith to Parramatta.
And I think it seems like you've got these fans like a long-standing club, and then they've won 4 premierships. I mean, make a bit of the thing, and it's not like I can see sometimes when fans would be unhappy if they're getting moved. Like you say, like the NBA franchise got moved to a different location against their will. Yeah, here the Panthers themselves are upgrading the stadium, so it's all for the good of the club. Yeah. No one's like, it's all Panthers done. So surely for a season, the fans could make a bit more effort.
Yeah. And it's not like it's a bad stadium. Look, it's
you get to go to a good stadium. And Panthers are offering buses and everything to go. It's not like there's only 2 buses that went over or something. So,
it's not like they're playing them out at, a cricket oval or something where you... Yeah. Viewing experience is shit.
Yeah.
Like
it's not a banishment by any stretch, but like you're not getting players.
You're playing at a world-class stadium. Like I don't know. Very strange. Panthers support a bit disappointing. Yeah, I expected better from them, but maybe they're just jumping off a bandwagon.
True. I mean, they would have got a few bandwagon fans. Yeah, but even in those like early 2000s years when they were not great, they still used to get some decent crowds. Yeah. So it's a bit surprising, really.
I mean, this one, I guess, it's Friday 6 p.m. Like that's that's forgivable.
True.
It's a tough time slot to go. Obviously Panthers
And then have to
Panthers
travel.
fan if they're working out Penrith way.
Yeah.
Then you're probably not going to drive all the way to Parramatta after work.
And Cowboys isn't a huge draw card as well.
Yeah.
So
But
it's a bit of a concern.
Yeah, but even like they had the Friday, I think the 8 p.m. game against the Roosters, and they still got a pretty poor crowd. So give them the benefit of the doubt, I guess, for this one. But yeah, you'd like to see their fans kind of show up and support. As you said, Isaiah Yeo is like club legend.
Yeah.
250th game. Yeah.
See how, keep an eye on it, I think. See how it goes out the season. Because if they sort of flatten out over the season, this could be a bit of an issue.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anyway, what do you make of the Cowboys?
Cowboys,
Do you reckon
they look good.
Yeah.
I mean, Drinkwater's in top form.
Yeah.
I don't know where to put them. I mean, I had them in my sort of bottom
Yeah.
3, 4.
I can't make a read of them. Look, I don't know.
Yeah.
Watching this game, I don't know if it was them being just great or whether the Panthers were poor. Bit of both, I think. But
They've escaped at a few wins lately that they didn't really...
because they just look so bad at the start of the year.
Yeah. They got towed by 50 points to both games.
So, and then both games could have been different. Like, I think it was McLean had basically an open pass to whoever was on his outside and he didn't throw it. And
They could have been 0 wins
it
right
could
now.
have very easily,
They should have lost the week before as well, I think, the Raiders game. But yeah, they ride their luck.
Yeah.
They could sneak. It could be a team that sneaks around the 8.
Yeah.
Sneaks in and causes a few upsets. They're well coached.
I think the advantage they have over other teams is their home ground, not just being a home ground in terms of like the crowd support, but the actual conditions. I think it's one of the only stadiums, or Canberra as well, that you kind of get an advantage on the conditions because they're so humid and obviously the humidity up there is so much, and they've trained it and they're prepared for it. If you get a team that hasn't, you kind of give them the edge there. Canberra, obviously, the opposite with the cold. So everywhere else is kind of similar-ish climates. That the conditions don't really change from place to place, but they do have a bit of an advantage there at home.
True. I mean, that's why you see them sneak into a lot of final series by winning those maybe 8 or 9 games at home. Yeah. And then you
only got to win a couple.
Yeah. So even the Cowboys teams which haven't been that sort of elite level get to the finals. Yeah. And then who knows what happens when you get to the finals.
Yeah. Well, same with Canberra. Like their teams, haven't been that great in recent times, but they've all kind of like hung around the 8. They've always been pretty good at home, and then they just win a few other games that they need to win. And
True. You don't usually see these teams coming like bottom or second bottom, but
the old rivalry, the Rabbitohs and the Roosters, 20-14 to the Rabbitohs. Again, another great game, another great finish. Latrell Mitchell back doing his thing. Started off in the centres, then obviously with the injuries to Cody Walker and Humphreys, he ended up playing the halves and made a few errors but kept backing himself and obviously threw that game-winning pass. Thought it was forward, but...
I was... what do you think of that? Because I was watching a bit of NRL 360. There was a huge... debate about that.
What was Buzz saying?
Buzz saying, it's 3 meters forward. And then Buzz's tweeted saying like that. It was 3 meters forward. He's standing 3 meters, 4 meters forward. And Nick Papas, the chairman of South, said, physics 101, Phil. Try throwing a ball out of a moving car. It'll go forward because you're running forward and everything. And Buzz was just going like, that's not true.
It's not true.
It's his theory, even though it's actual physics. But it's an interesting one because, yes, that is the case, right? Things will look forward, but it did also look like it was maybe forward out of the hands as well. Just because something moves forward and he's running forward doesn't mean it also can't be forward as well. But the main thing, it was a beautiful play to make because he doesn't get that perfectly looped. It gets an intercept try and that's game over. So that's Latrell for you. He'll take the risks. He didn't come off all the time. He made 2 out on the fulls trying to go 40-20s. He'll go for it. He's interesting. He's going to be number 6, I think, next week.
Yeah. He's been named at 6. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes there. I guess they don't really have any other options at South. Like they could put Jack White in there, but Wayne Bennett's kind of come out and said he doesn't rate him as a 5'8". So
their Super League signing Lewis Dodd got suspended, I think, for a
Yeah,
crusher.
yeah,
So otherwise he would probably get
Yeah.
parachuted in because Cody Walker's still injured.
yeah.
But they showed some good fight. They had one person on the bench for the last 30 minutes.
Mm.
And I thought that was game over.
Yeah.
You're behind on the scoreboard and you're got a man on the bench. It was really looking like Roosters would run home by like 18 points.
And
or
they're
something.
big injuries to have like affect the whole makeup of your team. Like your two halves
Yeah.
go off injured, and a winger, which is really hard to replace.
Yeah.
Like during the game, because no one carries a winger on the bench, so
Yeah.
you have to completely reshuffle your team. So the fact that they still hung in there and did really well, and I thought that was really impressive performance from South.
That's a Wayne Bennett team.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a Wayne Bennett mindset.
That's it. They don't win that game last year under Jason Demetrio.
Yeah.
That's Wayne.
They don't win many games under
Well,
Jason.
that's true. But yeah, Wayne had his fingerprints all over that one.
Yeah.
Now, game of the round,
Oh,
Parramatta.
the game of the round. Yeah, sure.
Parramatta and the Dragons.
Yeah.
Parramatta 23. Absolutely smashed the Dragons 22.
Yeah. I mean, they came from nowhere as well. It was like, what was it, 8-22 or 8-20?
Yeah.
And then they just hung in there. A bit of luck, I guess, with that penalty at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a penalty, obviously.
penalty.
It was a penalty. But you get that sort of
Yeah.
break and then you make the most of it so then you can hang into Golden Point. They played well.
Yeah. I thought that was by far Parramatta's best performance of
Yeah.
the season, by a long, long way. The efforts were there. The forwards were much better. I thought Junior Paulo's played probably his best game in 2 years.
Yeah.
He was outstanding. Every run that he was making, there was a lot of kind of intensity behind it. It was hard to put down. He had the offload free, and he was just he played big minutes too, I think. So yeah, I went to this game live, and it was very good. The atmosphere was good.
Yeah.
Gutho was copping a little bit, which is good.
Copying
was
it from Eels fans.
from Eels fans.
That's a bit harsh.
For a little bit, and then he scored. It's hard. I'll tell you what. Watching him score, it's like having an ex that's broken your heart, but you still want them to do well.
Yeah.
Like he scored that first try, and I kind of like caught myself smiling.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
The thing is here is that Gutho wanted to stay, right?
yeah, yeah.
There's no reason. I get
not,
it. Yeah.
It's not like he told Parramatta that he wanted to leave. Like,
Yeah.
they kicked Jason Rolls. Like, no, we don't want you, mate.
Yeah, they opened the door and just booted him out. I get it. The Dragons, I'm not happy with Lomax.
Yeah.
I mean, he openly wanted more money and everything, but Gutho is
I don't get the booing for Gutho. That's,
it's a
that's
classic
bit
thing.
harsh.
Like it's people go to have fun and boo their former player.
Yeah.
Whatever happens.
Yeah.
So poor guy. And I'm sure he'd understand.
But no, that was tough watching him. Yeah, the first try, I was happy for him. And then he scored the second try. I'm like, all right, enough now.
I was waiting for him to do the
Gutherino.
like the one they do in the EPL when they score in front of their former fans, and then she thought, sorry, and then not celebrating because out of respect.
We did the whole the kiss,
Yeah.
kiss the footy in the first try, and kind of
Oh yeah,
blew the fans a kiss.
yeah,
I want to see more Gutherino.
yeah.
But anyway, but yeah, apart from that, outstanding game, I thought. Lomax again was outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
It was just, still a few things that I think Parramatta need to work on. A few things that probably, I think the Dragons were poor as well. I think a lot of kind of that they invited Parramatta back into the game.
Yeah.
With, drop balls, penalties, that kind of thing, which I think a better team doesn't do that, and they kind of run away with it. But in saying that, I thought Parramatta were really good, and it was the first kind of signs of life that I saw where put Moses back into that team, and it is a team that can compete.
Yeah.
With maybe not the top teams, but
It's going somewhere.
A lot.
Like you got some good young players. I think
the signs of life
from that game. When you look at it, when Dragons do win with Gutho having a short, he'll be there good good for another 2 or 3 years. But in Lomax, you've got a guy for the next. I don't know how old is he? He's not that. He's like 20 mid 20s, low 20s. Yeah. 10 years. So by far, Lomax is the one to move forward. I think that's a very fair decision from the Eels.
Yeah.
It's hard to swallow with Gutho being such a club legend.
Yeah.
But it makes a lot of sense.
And Iongi was outstanding as well. That was the best match of his career, I thought. He was kind of in everything, setting up tries, scoring them. Had one kind of mistake off the kickoff where he tried to throw a ball to Adokar or Sean Russell, I don't know, one of them, and it went over the sideline, but he, put his head back up and he kept going and made a couple good plays after that as well. So I thought Riley Smith was really impressive, put on a lot of pressure for that kick that Ilias kicked out on the full golden point.
Yeah.
He was putting in all the kick pressure there. So he's really good. He's got a bit of fight into it. He was like, obviously, not on debut, but in his debut year, and he's only played a few games. But he's given it to the opposition. Like, they're making mistakes. He's up in their face. He's got a bit of Reed Marnie about him, which I like.
I like it.
So,
I like what the Eels are doing. I mean, it's not. I've seen Eels in the past sort of panic. You panic buy guys at the end of their career just to try and fill some gaps and come 10th. Yeah. But here they're saying, okay, we're going to back these young guys. You'd probably giving away any chance of making finals. But in the next 3-4 years, it'll be a top 4 premiership team. Yeah. So you're better to build like that rather than just being a perennial 6, 7, 8.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it could be bright.
Pay $1 million for Anthony Watmo.
There was some terrible one. Was Jamie Bureau briefly signed as well at some point?
No, I don't think so. That was someone else.
Someone else took him for a little bit and then it failed. But the Anthony Watmo thing, that was a disaster.
I think we're still recovering from it. But anyway, it's fine. We made him retire.
Medically retired. Oh, man. I'll bring back Chrissy Sando, I reckon.
Yeah. I was talking about Chrissy Sando actually with Mitch. Yeah. How he's just one of the best players of all time. He could have been.
There was a stretch when he came on for the Rabbitohs, that stretch of like 6, 7. He won a game with Golden Point. Then he just went like insane for 8 games. And he sort of lived off that for the rest of his career. But
pretty much. that was kind of like the highlights reel that they kept showing when he was looking for a new contract. Oh, remember the time we did this?
Yeah, like that 8-game run was one of the most tended to like prime Andrew Johns.
Big fall from grace was.
Yeah.
Anyway, shout out to Chrissy Sando. Titans and the Dolphins. Dolphins getting their first win, the comp 36, Titans 10. What do you make of that?
I didn't watch this game. I mean, what was I doing Saturday night? I was doing something. I wasn't watching.
Who were you doing?
What was I doing? Oh, no, I was on night shift. And I was just checking the scores and I was like, wait, why is Dolphins up by... I thought it was going to be the other way around. So that was a bit surprising.
Yeah, I didn't watch much of this either, to be honest. The Titans, I know Tino, he got sin-binned quite early. Yeah. First minute, I think. First set. So that probably didn't help him.
Yeah.
Desi wasn't happy about it. So I love watching Desi's press conferences. He's always entertaining.
Straight to the point.
The hair's flowing and he speaks in riddles, but it's straightforward. Yeah. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like he uses big words and it's good. I like him.
But I mean, what's he doing with the Titans? Like, what's the plan? Where are they going? I mean, that's the thing with the Eels. I mean, there seems to be a bit of a plan going forward. But Titans, I mean, what's the goal? You got some young players. You're sort of waiting to get maybe a DCE or something.
I think DCA makes a huge difference to that Titans team. I think
if he comes,
they've got the forward pack. Yeah, they just lack a game manager. Like they've got 3 fullbacks playing 6, 7,
There's
and 1.
talent there, But
so, they've got all these gun fullbacks that don't know what to do with them. They're just chucking them in random positions. I think you're going to get inconsistencies from them. They're all kind of inconsistent players as it is. Yeah. And then they're playing in positions that they're not really best at. Jaden Campbell's not a 7. Yeah. But and I said last week, they're going to be a momentum team. If they can get a bit of momentum going, they'll be hard to stop. Yeah. But I don't think they have players in that team that can change momentum if they get behind, which we've seen in this one. As soon as the Dolphins kind of scored a couple of tries and they had the momentum,
they just fall
the
off.
Titans didn't have anything to kind of change that or stop that. So that's going to be their issue going forward, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, because the last 2 or 3 years, I'm surprised there's more talk about Des. Yeah. What has he done? He hasn't done anything.
No, he does. But his press conference is funny.
That's true. So keep him. Yeah. But that's the thing. Other coaches get on pressure.
You got to keep him in the NRL somewhere.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe he can go to PNG.
I think if his name wasn't Des Hasler, another random coach, he'd be under pressure right now.
Yeah.
But it's sort of like, Des, he's here. We're happy to have him. We're lucky to have him.
Yeah.
Living a bit off the Manly success.
Yeah.
But I don't know. If they don't achieve anything in the next couple of years and there's no actual plan, who knows?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with the Titans because Desi's always been kind of a defensive first coach.
Yeah.
Whereas if I'm looking at the Titans and how they're playing, that they're kind of their focus is on attack. They're trying to win games through their attack rather than the defense. Which is kind of been against what he's been all about all his career. But
I think you need to see a Titans team in the 8. I was saying about the Eels, they've got the supporter base where they can bottom out a bit waiting to build and then let that happen. But Titans, you need to have a team in the 8 because otherwise with that market in Gold Coast, which is very low.
Well, especially with the Dolphins now as well. Like you probably have
really
a lot that
lose
jump.
that market and then you're in trouble of happening like the Gold Coast Chargers and you'll find yourself dumped. Especially now that one of those relocation spots went to PNG. If they relocate again to the Bears or something, Titans will be probably the first cab to go.
Well, the Dolphins kind of almost already have like a bigger supporter base than the Titans, just off the crowds.
Gold Coast they've tried in football, then AFL, even NRL. They've tried everything.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work because Gold Coast people are going for the beaches. There isn't that sort of pride of pride of the coast thing. I don't think as much really.
Not for sports.
Yeah. Not for sports. It's more of a tourism sort of.
And you have a lot of people that move up there, and they've already got their teams.
Yeah,
like you have a lot of people from Sydney that move up to the Gold Coast or Brisbane that move to the Gold Coast
for
to live. Yeah, but they've all got their teams already. Like they're not born and bred in the Gold Coast.
Yeah,
they've travelled there. So I think that's their problem as well.
The thing is, if you've got a game at 3 p.m. on a Sunday and you're living in the Gold Coast, you'd probably rather go to the beach.
Yeah.
You'd have to be an amazing game and your top team to be thinking about giving that up to watch game footy.
But they are an entertaining team. Like
they've got pieces there.
Yeah.
But I think it just needs something going forward. I think they're hoped for Kieran Foran to be that guy.
Yeah.
He's a bit too at the end of his career.
Yeah. I think if they can get DCE, I think that's going to be huge for him going forward. But
I can't see him going.
You don't reckon? Where do you reckon he goes?
Roosters.
I reckon Roosters.
I reckon he goes to Roosters.
I don't know. I reckon he goes back to Desi. Desi, Kieran Foran.
Yeah. But I think the thing with DCE is he's so close to the end of his career. He'll be prioritising where can I win a premiership in 2 years.
Yeah.
And then you look, Titans won't be winning a premiership in 2 years, will they? Broncos are pretty full in that halves department, so probably not. So probably is a Sydney team then. Roosters or who else? I don't know.
No one else at Sydney really needs a
halfback.
Do they?
No.
Canterbury?
It could actually.
But he's not going to move from Manly to
Bulldogs. I can't see it.
To go to Canterbury.
Yeah.
To go to Belmore.
Interesting one. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised after all this he stays at the Seagulls again.
Another backflip.
I could see. I wouldn't be surprised.
I could see it happening, to be honest. The Broncos 46 over the Tigers 24. I kind of saw this coming. I thought that would kind of be how the game panned out.
Yeah.
I think they got lucky, the Tigers, to be honest, with Adam Reynolds going off injured just after half time. I think it could have been a lot more if he stayed on. Yeah. He was looking dangerous.
Yeah, another one which, again, I was on this night shift and watched a few of the first half, and then Patient came out and needed to see. By the time I finished with that Patient, I checked the score and Broncos had gone from like 6 or 12 just before halftime to like 38 or something.
Yeah.
So like it's 5 tries and like. I was like, I didn't spend that long. but
they were good in the first half.
All
the
just
Tigers.
Happened. Yeah,
they were kind of
collapsed.
They were putting up a fight, and they were in the game. And I think they might have even been up by a couple points at one point.
Dewey missed all 3 conversions. Yeah. Then I went back and watched the highlights today. Actually, it all just once they got the momentum, Reynolds, Reece Walsh, and everyone just took over, and Tigers didn't do a lot wrong, but.
There was no Luai as well.
Yeah.
So I think Broncos just
not on the whole of it, some of it, not a bad effort from the Tigers. Really, very young team.
Yeah, I thought their first half was really good.
Yeah,
they just kind of didn't quite have enough to match it with them in the second half. I think.
Yeah,
so, is what it is.
Yeah.
Manly up against the Storm, 24-48 for the Storm. Battle of Brookie.
Yeah. This is a similar game to the Tigers Broncos, really. I mean, close game at the start and then just completely blew out.
Yeah.
The second half where Storm just completely took over. It was looking like you're going to get even worse again like that Tigers-Broncos game once they got into... But you can see that the Seagulls without Trbojevic suddenly turns into a bottom team.
It just seems like there's no cohesion there. It's just
he links up everything.
Yeah,
it's pretty. That's not a good system to have. It's a very dangerous system to have, especially when Trbojevic is so injury prone. You need to rebuild this system somehow. And they do, but they do have other players. It's very confusing.
There's a lot of talent there, but I think you summed it up really well there. He's the one that kind of links them all together, and without him, there's no linking and there's no cohesion there. They just all look kind of lost. You know, you've got Olokuatu, who's such a great ball runner, but, you know, he's probably not getting into the best positions without him. But Cherry Evans, there's enough experience there that he should kind of be able to lead the team around and be that linking person. So it'll be interesting to see how he does, whether he steps up, be a bit more involved now that Tom's out for a bit.
Yeah.
I think he needs to.
I mean, with that, though, I mean, I can somewhat see it from the Seagulls' perspective. They're like, Cherry Evans is what, 37 or something? 36? Yeah. Do we really need to give him a 2-year, $1 million deal? Or we have other pieces at this club. Why can't we bring in some young guys? Again, that goes completely against the sentimentality of it. But business-wise, if I was playing like an NRL video game, I probably don't give that contract, right?
Yeah.
But I can see why they'd be like, let's try and move on, because maybe they're thinking, even with Cherry Evans and Trbojevic, is this actually a premiership team? I don't know.
I think could be, yeah.
But do you want to you can't put all your eggs in that and then suffer after that. Maybe you have to try and invest in getting some other guys.
I think their problem is just how injury prone Trbojevic is. I think that's the real issue at Manly, and he hasn't really put a full season together where he's been fit come finals time. And, you know, if he's fit coming finals time, and Manly, they're a team that can genuinely win the comp.
Yeah.
But he's got to be on the field.
What's the latest injury? Shoulder.
MCL.
Oh, MCL. Yeah. That's the thing. I mean, he's having legitimate bad injuries. It's not even he should push through it stuff. He's actually having. And
they're different injuries. It's not like it's just his hamstring always going. It's not something it's just every part of him is just breaking.
Yeah.
Which,
I don't know. Maybe he's got to change up the style of the way he plays.
Yeah.
Very like full on way of running and everything. Maybe he needs to play a bit more like passing kind of game. I don't know. What can he do? Kick DC and move him into halfback.
Centers.
DC goes somewhere and then they move him into halfback.
Yeah. Who knows? Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you fix someone that's getting injured all the time. Maybe his career as a fullback's over. Maybe you put him in the centres, but then you lose so much.
Yeah. What can you do? And you probably still... He's got injured there before anyway. And I think New South Wales he got injured there, didn't he? So, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Who knows? Anyway, the Bulldogs 20 over the Knights.
Odd game.
Zippo.
Odd game. Yeah, it was 0-2 at halftime. It was like a football game.
Good for the unders.
Yeah. I mean, but both teams lacked it in attack.
Yeah.
Knights, obviously, says the story. But Bulldogs show that they have a bit of class there. I mean, some of it is they're missing Burton.
He'll make a big difference once he's back.
Yeah, but I think it shows. I think Bulldogs...
They did what they had to do.
Yeah, it's a winning mentality team. And they could be in that real premiership mix, I guess. But, I mean...
Defensively, they're certainly up to it. I don't know whether their attack's good enough
to
match it with the likes of Melbourne.
Yeah.
But their defense is certainly up.
That's
to
the thing.
test,
If you keep your defense, obviously they're not in the class of Melbourne, but if you get to a prelim final or something and you keep Melbourne to 12, 16 points, you get a couple of lucky tries.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, that's it. And I like what they were doing. Like Marju, he it was a rough day to be him under the high ball. He couldn't catch anything, but the Bulldogs, they seen that early and they just kept going for it.
Yeah.
So, because you see a lot of teams, like something like that will happen and they try other options and, you know, I guess it's more entertaining to watch, but they found something and they're like, no, we're just going to stick at it. We're going to, every single time we get to the fifth tackle, we're going to kick it at Marju.
Yeah. Keep it works. They're well coached. That's the thing, Sir Aldo's this is why he was such a highly rated coach that everyone wanted.
Yeah.
But
they don't care about, you know, putting on a show and making it entertaining. They're just going to do what they can to win, which, hey, as a Doggies fan, that's what you want. You want to see your team winning. So you don't care how they win. You don't care how it looks. You just want them to win.
Credit to the Knights as well. They hung in there.
Their defense was outstanding in that first half as well.
Yeah, a lot of goal line, like
3 or 4 back-to-back sets on their goal line, and they did really well in that first half, and then it just got too much for them in the end. So,
good signs from them. Like, I think they'll still be in and around that age just based on their sort of grit.
I think so. There's definitely promising. So I thought, even though they didn't score a point, I thought that was one of the Knights' best performances, to be honest.
Yeah.
They lost 2 players in the first couple of minutes.
Yeah.
With their winger, whoever he was, he went off with that HIA.
Saifidi.
And Saifidi injured in the warm-up. So, you know, plenty of good signs for the Knights.
And then Warriors with the bye, which Mitch has asked us to talk about. Because it's happy multicultural round.
Yes. Well, I didn't even know.
I didn't know either.
I didn't know it was a thing, but then the NRL site was yellow, and I was like, "What's going on here?" But it's multicultural round.
Yeah.
Apparently, I don't know. Mitch has done this. So if this is wrong, blame Mitch.
Yeah.
But apparently, this is their second multicultural round in a row where they've had the bye.
Yeah. That's disgraceful.
Which he's not happy about.
That's disgraceful.
Because he's a big fan of his multicultural.
Because I guess, like, if we're talking NRL, we have Australia and then New Zealand.
Yeah,
is the multicultural aspect. So by that definition, New Zealand should be in the multicultural round because they're an extra culture.
They are.
But I mean, maybe it's because I don't tune into games for kickoff. I come like maybe 5-10 after kickoff.
Yeah,
I haven't. Was there a pre-game match saying "Welcome to multicultural round game 5" or something?
Some players had like flags when they ran out.
Yeah,
that was kind of it. I don't know.
I mean,
it wasn't a big thing like, you know, your Indigenous round and Anzac round where there's really special things and they do, you know, the welcome to country or they do the Anzac ceremonies and they do things and it's kind of a bit more of a celebrate. The multicultural round, I don't know. I don't just seemed a bit.
I mean, I'm all for a themed round. Yeah. That sometimes there's too many. I think just throwing them out there just for the sake of it.
Bring back rivalry round. That was always good.
Yeah.
When the game, like, you had a round where every game was just an absolute blockbuster. Like, you had Panthers, Eels, or Panthers, whoever, Tigers.
All the derbies,
And you had
Sharks,
Bulldogs,
Dragons,
Eels, and Sharks, Dragons, and Melbourne and Manly.
Yeah.
You had the Brisbane teams. Like, that was cool.
True. But the thing is with that is what work topic are you nailing with that? Not much, really. Can't get sponsors on board for a rivalry round, but you'll get your sponsors on board for a multicultural round. I mean, to be fair, I mean, NRL off the field does do quite a bit of community programs and that kind of stuff, which is good.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I haven't looked into it. They probably did quite a few community stuff for the multicultural people. And Mitch does make a point. I mean, if you are having this, maybe Warriors should have been in it. It's one of those things they probably put it in the computer. No one actually thought about it, and they realized 2 weeks before, like, wait.
They probably just like copied and pasted like the same draw as last year,
and like, oh damn, we should
change
probably
like
have
a
the
couple
Warriors.
of teams, and then forgot to change this one. And
people do forget about the Warriors a bit.
Poor Warriors.
Yeah, because I mean, I kind of forgot Warriors didn't play. This week as well.
Warriors fans already hate us.
Yeah, so that doesn't help.
They're not going to be happy with us after.
What
this
round
week.
is it next week?
Who knows? Round 6. Probably, I don't know, something else.
Yeah. Sports bet round.
Sports bet round.
It kind of is already, like that Try July.
That's coming up.
Yeah.
In July.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's get on to our tips for this week, eh? The Dolphins and the Panthers. Thursday night. Who have you got for this one?
Panthers. Yeah. I mean, I think that's...
I can't see them losing again. Surely,
but I mean, how long will this keep on going? We keep on saying surely, and it's...
Let's see.
You never know. I mean, it's in Suncorp as well.
It is.
So it'll be closer than people think, I think.
Cleary's got another week under his belt, though. I can't see him losing. I think really
it
can't.
Should be pretty straightforward.
Like, if they're ever going to be up for a game, if there's ever a game that they're not going to take lightly and they're just going to go, you know, they're going to be copying it at training. Like, they're going to be absolutely doing everything they can to, like, turn this around. And, they're not used to losing this many games, and they're not going to be happy about it.
I think Panthers by maybe a couple of tries, maybe 16-ish, that kind of...
I think it'll be close for probably 60 minutes, and then Panthers run away with it at the end, I think.
I think that's pretty
That's
fair.
kind of what I see happening, but who knows? Dragons and the Titans, Friday, 6 p.m.
Yeah.
This one, I don't know.
It's another interesting game.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd think it should be Dragons. Should.
Yeah.
But
I think so. At home in Wollongong. But this is definitely a game that the Titans could win.
Yeah.
I think it's just going to come, as I said before, the momentum. If they can get some momentum, the Titans, I think they'll be hard to stop. Whereas if the Dragons get some, I can see them running away with it.
Probably be a reasonably high scoring game.
I think so. One to be on the overs.
Yeah. Yeah. Win some, lose a lot more.
Yeah.
But yeah.
For the next game, Friday, 8 p.m, the Broncos and the Roosters. Adam Reynolds been named, which I'm surprised.
Interesting one. And not one I probably wouldn't agree with that, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one that he could probably exacerbate that hamstring. But it should be pretty straightforward for Broncos.
I think so. I think they win. I think they win well.
Yeah, I think Roosters are pretty done for the year.
At Suncorp as well.
Yeah, I don't think Roosters are doing anything this year.
A couple of new combinations, new halves pairing this week for the Roosters.
Did our friend Chad got dropped?
Yeah, he's gone. Gone. Your guys, the Sharkies, up against the Manly Seagulls. Who have you got for this one? Up at Optus Stadium, out west.
Perth,
Yeah.
Who's moving? Oh, Sharks are moving that up to Perth. Interesting one then, actually.
Keep him there.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I remember that I used to be very, I think this was in 2011 or 12, that kind of range. I was genuinely scared that they were going to get moved to Perth.
There was a big push for it.
I used to check Daily Telegraph every couple of weeks and just make sure it wasn't happening.
What's Buzz been saying?
Yeah, Buzz is the most like fake Shark fan ever. He'll probably like welcome it. But that's the thing. When a game is in Perth, it could be anyone's game.
Yeah, there's no home ground advantage.
Yeah, and teams are both just gone off there. And I mean, who knows who turns up well, who parties harder in Perth and stuff. Still should be Sharks, really.
Yeah.
But I think that'll be another close one.
Yeah.
It'll be a very close game, I think.
I think Sharks get up here.
Yeah.
Well, it's 3 p.m. Eastern time. So what's that over there? That's like...
Because they're behind, right? Yeah.
So that'd be what, 1?
Yeah.
No, they're the other way, are they? No, they're 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think they're probably just trying not to clash with whoever's playing at home, Eagles or the Dockers. Just make sure that doesn't clash with that. But I don't see the point of moving games to Perth. I mean, you're never going to break the Perth AFL market.
Yeah.
They used to have... The Western Australian team was reasonably well supported. You get supporters there. But, I mean...
Because you'd think they'd be like the other way. You'd have them later on in the day rather than earlier.
True. You can get a good night match for these guys. I mean...
That's like the Big Bash. The Big Bash doesn't start till like midnight. They're always like one of the best. But it's summertime.
Perth love this Big Bash. They show up all in orange, and so they get behind a team when they have a team.
Yeah.
So I mean, to be fair, if you put a Perth team, they would get good support.
Well, they show up to like the Origin and stuff when it's there. So
yeah, but the thing, my point is, I guess that by putting this game here, how many new fans are you going to get? You already have rugby league fans there. You're not gaining anything.
Yeah.
I mean, so
yeah. Rabbitohs and the Cowboys.
Oh, that's also Optus.
That's
Stadium.
also double header.
Oh, interesting. So that means it's not just a cash grab from the Sharks. It's just like an NRL.
Yeah, must be.
Yeah. Interesting 2 games to put there. Rabbit.
I'm going to the Cowboys. I reckon they keep going. I reckon they go 3 in a row. Just with the injuries for the Rabbitohs, I think last week would have taken its toll. A lot to get through.
That's not a bad shout, actually. With Latrell playing 6, I think that'll be interesting. I'll still go Rabbitohs, I think.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if Cowboys get the upset. I think it'll be I imagine it'll be a bit of a 50-50 game odds-wise. But, bit of flip the coin. But I think Rabbitohs with that little bit of extra class.
Yeah. I was thinking, new combinations there for Rabbitohs. It might be,
it's one of those hit or miss things. It could easily miss.
The Mighty Eels up against the Raiders in Darwin. Last game that Parramatta are taking to Darwin. Yeah. Which I think is a good thing because we normally lose. Because we always bring... It's so dumb. I'm very glad this year that Parramatta are versing the Raiders there. Yeah. Makes sense. Bring a team that's in the cold up north.
That's true. That's actually tactically...
Normally we always bring like fucking...
Cowboys
to play in Darwin, and then we get blown off the park in 40 minutes because they're all good, and our forwards, Junior Paulo's needing a fucking ice bath after 10 minutes.
Why do you guys need to go to Darwin?
It's a sponsorship thing.
Sure, but
the Darwin government pays us money.
You're paying a pretty good amount because you're leaving Combank 40K. Like Sharks, I get it with our like 6-person stadium, but. Yeah, it'd have to be a solid amount from there.
Yeah, I think it's a decent amount. But that deal ends after this season. So I think it was a 10-year contract or something like that. So this is the last one, which will be good.
I think it'll be another close game.
I'm going to go Parramatta.
I'm actually tempted to go Parramatta as well.
First time I've tipped them all year.
Yeah, that's true. Screw the Raiders with their stupid last minute tries. Screw you. I hope Ricky Stewart loses. I want to go the Eels.
Yeah, I think Ricky's going to be on the sideline sweating.
Yeah.
It didn't work for the Raiders. They lost last time they were playing up in the heat in Townsville.
Yeah.
I think the heat's going to get to him.
Sure, I hope he gets to him.
He's going to be sweating green, Ricky, and they're going to lose. Yeah. There you go, sweating milk. The Storm up against the Raiders. No, that's not the team. It's the Warriors.
Exactly, that's what I mean.
They're so forgettable.
That's what I mean. I forgot they were in the comp. Don't they play rugby? Sorry, Mitch. Today, we'll celebrate the Warriors and multiculturalism in this game.
Yes,
but actually that brings us to another point. Actually, the Storm and Warriors.
Yeah, the old Anzac Day clash.
This is supposed to be an Anzac Day. Another good observation from Mitch. Yes, he seems to be following the Warriors.
He's a big Warriors fan.
Really closely. He's an undercover Warriors fan. But apparently this has been a Anzac Day staple. Now that he's mentioned it, I think, I remember them playing on Anzac Day. But I wouldn't call it like I don't wake up on Anzac Day thinking I can't wait for the Warriors
Storm.
Storm.
It's not the one that you're waiting for, is it? It's kind of like
like Dragons, Roosters, or Collingwood, Essendon.
No, we don't. We're not talking about that one.
Wrong crowd. But here's your early Anzac Day.
It did used to be a thing that they did down in Melbourne.
Yeah.
Like night, and they did it pretty well. But then the Warriors wanted to play in Warriorland.
Yeah.
And Melbourne didn't want to come across. They wanted to stay in Melbourne. So now there's 3 games on Anzac Day, I think. So there you go.
And none of them are going to be the Storm and Warriors, unfortunately.
No, they won't be. So sad news. If you're looking forward to that fucking hell, can't talk. Blockbuster. But you get it early. So there you go. Silver lining.
And Storm to win by maybe 16.
I think Storm to win by 60.
60?
I think they're going to put on a huge one. They're going to be fired up for this traditional Anzac Day rivalry. The Knights and the Tigers at McDonald Jones.
Is Luai back?
Luai is back.
Yeah, okay. Tigers.
I'm going to go to the Knights. I like what I saw. What I saw defensively.
Yeah.
I thought they were really good. I think they were really strong. and I think they're going to be better this week.
I like what I saw defensively. Where's the firepower? It's very limited.
It is, but I don't. Even though the Tigers have been very good defensively at the start of the season, I don't think it'll hold up against the Knights. I think Ponga's got too much class. He'll find a way.
Yeah,
you don't normally see him quiet 3 games in a row.
Yeah,
so
true. You know, he needs to get back on the substance.
The old cubicle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it for the footy.
Yeah.
We'll just quickly go through our tips so people know what we're doing. The Panthers, Dolphins. I'm going Panthers. You're going Panthers.
Yeah.
Dragons, Titans. I'm going to go Dragons.
Yep, I'm going Dragons as well.
Bronx, Roosters. We're going Bronx.
Yep.
Sharkies and the Seagulls. I'm going the Sharkies.
Yep, same.
Rabbitohs, Cowboys. I'm going the Cowboys.
Yeah, this is where we split. I'll go Rabbitohs.
Yep. Eels, Raiders. I'm going the Parramatta Eels.
I'll stick with you. Eels.
The Storm and Warriors. I'm going Storm.
Yep.
And Knights, Tigers. I'm going Knights.
Nice, and I'll go Tigers.
Yeah.
That's 2 differences. And Bulldogs with a bye.
Gus will be out partying.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it for the footy news. Now, what's your bet of the week?
Bet of the week. I like what I saw from the South. I'm jumping on the South train.
Yep.
Give me South to make the top 8. Looked it up. It's $1.80.
Right.
Cash in when you get to the end of the season.
You're in for the long haul there.
I like these long haul bets on this podcast because people forget about them, and then I can't cop heat. Because it's
not a bad
so much
idea.
in the future. It's like my Alcaraz to win the Australian Open. I mean, he didn't.
Didn't he? I don't know.
He didn't.
Who won? Sinner.
Yeah, Sinner.
He was a drug cheat. Doesn't count.
Well, that's the thing. If you look back at that podcast, I made that bet of the week on the basis that I hoped Sinner would. I thought I was thinking Sinner might get banned.
Yeah.
So that did change things.
My bet of the week, I'm going to go all in on Parramatta. I'm going to go all in. So if Parramatta lose, which they probably will, I'm going to be very disappointed. Saturday at 7:30.
Yeah.
So it won't be a good time to be my dog around that time because they're going to get kicked into the next suburb.
Yeah. Hope for your dog, I hope the Eels win.
So I'm going to go for them to win.
Yeah.
And I like Lomax on the wing. He played wing. They switched halfway through the game.
Okay.
In the previous game, he's been named on the wing now this week, so I think that's kind of a permanent thing going forward.
Yeah.
I like him. I'm not going to put a bet on him. I'm just going to go Parramatta to win. I'm going to keep it simple.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Going to keep it simple, I think. And actually, I'll multi that up. Panthers to win 13 plus because I think they win big.
Well, then the problem is because the Panthers is the first game. If they don't, what do? You put another bet on the Eels.
I'll have to. Yeah.
That's the problem with splitting it on different days because then it's all well and good if Panthers do that leg. Otherwise, you're sort of sitting there thinking, don't do it again.
Yeah.
I've been there.
That's what I'm doing. Can't talk me out of it. Now, I'll hand this one over to you.
Yeah.
You want to talk about the IPL?
I do.
What's been happening?
I've heard the clips of you guys talking about the IPL before. I know you're not a fan.
Not a fan. Too much noise going on.
There was a lot of noise. I think there was criticism over the pitches as well. Fairly so. At the start of the year, start of the season, there was like some 280 scores, 260 scores, mainly from the Sunrise. That's all sort of calmed down since then. I watched last night RCB versus Mumbai.
Yep.
Fantastic game. You have to, if you watch some of the, high quality game, Hazelwood was bowling beautifully. Then he went and got pumped by Hardik Pandya. And then Mumbai almost chased 212, lost by 10, 12 runs. That sort of IPL, that 2020 range is good, I reckon. 200, 210. I think that's a pretty high quality. Anything more than 220, 230 becomes ridiculous for me.
I just can't get into it. I'm sleeping.
The time zones are terrible. For me, it helped because not working today meant that I could stay up and happily watch.
I'm not invested enough in it to watch
to
at
stay,
1 a.m. To stay up.
I see what you mean.
And sacrifice sleep for it. And then, the earlier games that if I put it on, there's just noises.
Yeah.
I don't like it. Too many noises.
The whistle crowd for the Chennai. Yeah.
Too many chants. Just shut the fuck up. Watch the game.
It is a bit gimmicky with some of the DJ shouting and that kind of stuff. The quality of the cricket, I think, is a lot higher than the BBL.
Yeah.
Some of these young Indian talent, I'm not an Indian team supporter. I'm not a BCCI supporter by any means. But some of the talent that's being unearthed is like you haven't heard of them. These guys, like young batsmen coming through, they're playing outrageous shots. There isn't that depth of talent in Australia.
Yeah.
I think that you see some of these from the teams in Oz when the big stars aren't playing and you're beating guys from grade cricket, the quality isn't there. And we had some games in the BBL during that sort of January period which were pretty poor. So to watch the IPL from there shows what the BBL should be if we can get those international guys over.
Yeah. I just can't get around it.
Yeah.
I don't like the names. The names are weird.
Yeah.
Like the team names.
Like something Super Giants.
What's a fucking Sunriser?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
How can I support a Sunriser? I don't like.
True. Yeah, I mean, NRL you got say Dragons, Eels, Sharks.
At least the Major League Cricket, they've got the Orcas. They've got cool names. But I don't want to support the
Sunrise,
the Mumbai Indians.
Yeah, that's the worst name in. And the problem with Mumbai Indians is because these franchises take over the whole world, right? Yeah. So you've got MI Cape Town. Yeah. That's the most ridiculous name I've ever heard.
Mumbai Indian Cape Town.
Yeah. So yes, it's But if you can disconnect yourself from that and enjoy some of the cricket, there's some good stuff.
Who do you
happening.
support?
I don't really have a team. I mean, RCB is probably the team that I like most, mainly because one of my other mates, I wore an RCB shirt once, and now he sort of labeled me an RCB fan. So I've sort of gone along with it. Let's go RCB. And also, they're sort of the Sharks of the IPL because they haven't won before the Sharks won the premiership. They somehow haven't won a IPL.
They have a stacked team.
Yeah, they've had a stacked team since 2008, the start of it.
They're like the Melbourne Stars.
Yeah, never won a title. They've had Kohli the whole way. Had Gale, had everyone, but the way they've stacked it, they usually stack the team with batsmen, and then they wonder, why are we not being able to defend 220? But they've at least now Hazelwood's been good for them, so who knows? This could be the year.
Could be the year. There you go. Yeah. Exciting times.
Probably not going to be Chennai's year. I mean, Dhoni's still hanging around.
How old is he now? He's got to be almost 50.
Yeah, I think he's in his early 40s, 40 or something, 41. He trots out at number 9 when the game's already done. And he'll hit a couple of sixes off a spinner they bowl for the last over, and then the whole crowd cheers like they've won the World Cup. It's very cringeworthy.
I can't get around
Extremely
that.
cringeworthy. If you're
it's shit like that I'm
they're
just
because he can't bat for more than 2 or 3 overs.
Why?
Because he's too old. He can't run. But then, what are you doing? Just play
Why
Legends
is he
cricket.
playing?
Just play Legends cricket. There's other things you can do.
Why do they keep Pete? If he's not good enough to bat?
Because it's Dhoni. You can't. If he says I want to play, they can't say no, and the fans will come to watch him play 10 balls at the end.
Does he keep as well?
He keeps. He's keeping okay.
Yeah.
There's one he couldn't run to, which maybe a younger keeper would have taken a catch. But he's been making some stumpings. But when you have there was a run chase, they needed 12 and over, and he didn't come out until number 9. And then Ashwin go in front of him. I mean, that's pretty. It's pretty sad to be honest.
Just give it up, MS.
Yeah, just give it up.
Give it up. Now, I wanted to... I don't know if you've seen this.
I saw this.
But,
I saw this today.
Friend of the show, Buzz. I'll tell you what. Say what you want about Buzz.
Yeah.
But this is the hard-hitting journalism that I want from him more often.
Yeah.
This is outstanding. He's put out an article saying that Michael Clarke, it was his birthday. So happy birthday, Clarkey. Big 4-0.
Yeah.
And
no one cares.
He's got the exclusive news that nobody came to his party. There were no former or current cricketers that showed up.
Yeah. I just picture him just by himself with a cake. Punter might come. Punter said he'll be a bit late. Punter said he had a few errands to run. Haydos also had a few errands. Can you imagine making the group chat and everyone's like, sorry, a bit busy tonight.
Yeah, I've got something. I might be able to come in afterwards. Yeah,
just got something on.
Yeah,
you're not saying what that is. Just got plans. And then he might have done the thing where, hey mate, are you free on this day? And then they sort of do the, I'll let you know. And then as soon as it becomes a party, they're like, got that plan.
Or it was like, sorry, I've just been held up at work. Can't make it.
It was I saw the headline and I thought it'd be a bit of a meat to it or something like that, like quotes from someone.
Yeah.
It's just the whole article is just like how great a bloke Clarke is and just like, he's so sad that he has no friends.
Why didn't anyone come to my birthday?
And the whole turning point was the Kadich thing.
Yeah.
The thing is, the Kadich thing happened, but if he was a likable bloke, he would still have mates coming to his thing. But he lost, him and Simons were close at one point, then they also fell out. Rest in peace, Andrew Simons. But I can't name anyone I think who he was close to.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad.
Kevin Peterson.
Yeah, Kevin. And this guy's also been in the media and everything, but it is a little sad. He on the face of it, the part in the article was written as well that he's one of the greats of Australian cricket, one of the greatest captains. And he doesn't really get that sort of love. Like if you see a Steve Waugh, people are like, I love Steve Waugh. I remember Steve Waugh. Do you hear people saying, I wish Michael Clarke was still playing? Have you heard that recently? I haven't heard that.
It is pretty telling though. Like when, like nobody has come out and like defended you or like said that your friends or like showed up to your birthday. Like it's pretty telling of like, the kind of person that you are. Yeah, and it's not just the Simon Kadich.
It's not the Simon Kadich. He had plenty of teams after Kadich.
Yeah,
that you would expect that he would. Yeah,
a lot of players that weren't around for that incident that would have no idea of like what actually unfolded. Maybe they do, but wouldn't judge him or based whether they like him or not based on that. So there's obviously more to it. There's obviously something about him that people don't like.
I think he was a very driven guy. He was a very sort of obsessed of getting that sort of captaincy. Yeah. Apparently when he came into the team, he gave everyone gifts and stuff like that to try and get that favour. And Ponting didn't like him because you're the captain of this successful team. You got this young guy straight away coming and dreaming about being a future captain openly in the team. He didn't like him. Yeah. But he did a good job in the end. And great batsman to watch. But ultimately, that's the thing. You can pick the way of trying to be super successful and lose the people on the way, or you can try and be a bit more likable. But
get people showing up to your birthday.
Yeah. Happy. I would have come. if I knew there was I would have happily come. Get some cake. There's probably
more cake for me.
Probably a lot left over.
What kind of cake do you reckon he goes with? Do you reckon he buys his own cake, or is someone
probably hopes one of the mates would bring him a cake? Probably had to go to Woolies and get a mud cake himself.
Uber Eats because no one showed up.
Yeah.
Maybe Buzz was there. Yeah. Well, he must have been.
I love how in the article they also mentioned that he's been pretty have a pretty low profile since, except for the Carl Stefanovic fight. That was a pretty big one, to be honest.
I wonder if Carl got invited.
Yeah, I can't remember whether that was even over.
I don't know.
They argued about some.
I think it was about a girl.
And then there's like a whole shouting match. And
I wonder if Lara Bingle got invited.
Yeah. She deserves an invite after all that's happened.
I wonder who was actually there. I wonder if anyone was there.
That's the thing. Like, if there's no cricketers there, who was actually there?
Who was there? Like, who else could he have liked?
Yeah. Like some random mates off the just posted on Facebook.
It's not like because the ones in the media that he works with now would still be cricketers.
Yeah. So there's no cricketers. So who are these guys?
No one that he's worked with. No one that he's played with.
Yeah. It's probably him.
Him?
Yeah.
Maybe his wife. Is he still got a wife, or are they're gone now?
Well, they should get with Carl.
Just him and Carl.
I don't know. I thought they maybe broke up, separated.
I think they might have. Yeah.
Yeah. So might have actually just been him. And Buzz.
And Buzz, of course, Buzz was there. Buzz was there. Him and Buzz. What a party.
If in your life you've only got one person that you hang out with and it's Buzz, I'm sorry, but that's sad. I'm sorry.
If Buzz is your only friend
that is sad.
At your 40th birthday.
I'm sorry.
Maybe Buzz brought him cake.
Yeah. Usually I'd be like, oh, good on you. You haven't. No, I'm sorry. If Buzz is the only guy in your life, that is quite a sad situation.
Shout out to Buzz.
Yeah, shout out. No, I'm not shouting him out. No.
Shout out to Michael Clarke.
I remember when
happy birthday, pup.
Buzz is supposed to be like Sharks fan.
Yeah.
Remember how he tore down the Sharks during the peptide thing? And everything?
Yeah.
No support. No, this guy, he's a two-faced. He's like 95 years old and still on NRL 360. I don't know how he does it.
He's incredible, but
This
this is the groundbreaking journalism that I want to see more of.
That's true. I want to see who comes to the next birthday party.
yeah.
Anyone.
I want to see an article next week being like exclusive.
Yeah.
The 3 friends at Michael Clarke's birthday.
Yeah. I want to see everyone. Like Matthew Hayden had a birthday party. Who was there? What did they order? Where did they go? This is the kind of journalism we need.
What presents did he get?
Yeah. Clarke got any presents? Or?
Did Buzz get him a present?
Yeah. Clarke is the kind of guy who orders himself.
Oh, he
gift,
would. Yeah. He's the type of guy where you'd walk into his party and there'd be like a basket or something at the front being like drop gifts here or
like a wishing well for
wishing well for his birthday.
For his own birthday.
Yeah. You got anything else to add?
It's in general or about Michael Clarke?
Oh, either or.
Yeah. I could go on about Michael Clarke for a long time, but I mean, I hope for his 41st birthday that he gets some people out. But if you're listening to this, Michael Clarke, I will come. I was a fan.
Give us the invite, Michael. We might show up. I think I've got something on before, but I'll try and make.
Yeah. I think because it was multicultural around.
Yeah.
A lot of people were too busy like supporting that. Yeah, there's a few.
All the Warriors fair.
Yeah.
Oh, no, they didn't play.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, that's it. I think Mitch will be back next week. Maybe I don't know what he's doing, but
yeah. I mean, I see you got Bitcoin update.
Bitcoin update. I don't know what it is, but it's going down.
Trump news.
It's going down quick. The Bitcoins. I know everyone's eager to know what it is. I don't know. My phone's up there, but it's not heading in the right direction. Trumpy, he's friend of the show, obviously, but he's hasn't done good things for the Bitcoin.
Yeah. All I will say with that is
all the tariffs. They're no good.
Yeah. As you bet on, if JD Vance had been president, you would have been very rich, and people would have probably been richer because the stock market wouldn't have collapsed.
That's it.
So I think, I mean,
you win some, you lose more.
Yeah.
What I like is when he was like announcing the tariffs. I was at the gym watching it, not really watching it, but it was on the screen.
Yeah.
And there was no volume, so I didn't know what the fuck was happening.
Yeah.
But it was just like him holding up like his little poster with like all the percentages or whatever. It looked like a primary school kid that's like made something like a school project, and he's like showing his mum what he did, and he's like, "Look what I made! Look what I made! Look what I made at school today!" It's just like this poster with his little color coded. He's
well, I don't know what's going to shape up. I mean, like his reasonings are trying to boost American manufacturing or whatever. But we'll see if it tanks the whole economy before that can happen. The other thing I think Mitch wanted us to talk about is Will Pekoski.
Yes, retired. Gonski.
Yeah. But I mean, if he's retired, surely he had time to show up to Clarke's birthday.
Maybe that's why he retired. He's like, sorry, Clarkey, I can't make it. I've got to retire. I've got a retirement announcement to make.
I was there when he scored that 62.
Yeah.
I think that was during the whole COVID time when they had smaller crowds.
I thought he already retired, to be honest. I thought like...
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty much like the writing was on the wall, but I think the panel said... we recommend you retire.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like you have to retire. It was his decision.
Yeah.
So now he's made that think
decision.
about it.
Yeah.
And I think there's legal stuff as well to sort out because he'll probably get some kind of compensation.
Well, he's gone straight into coaching.
Yeah. Victoria Premier. He's a smart student of the game.
You see that in his commentary. Yeah. He knows the game well.
There's a future there. It's sad because, I mean, he was a good technical player. He could have played.
He would have gone down as probably one of our best openers of all time, I think. I strongly believe he's had so much talent.
Yeah. I followed his career from a young age, really. I remember hearing about him when he was in that 18, 19, scoring hundreds in grade cricket all the time, and they were like, this guy's going to play for Australia.
Yeah.
And he did well.
Yeah.
It's sad. There's only one test, and he scores a 62 in that one test. And I think what happened, I think a lot of people sort of, there's a misconception that, it's because he couldn't play the short ball and he kept on like getting hit. Yeah. I think the problem was when he was younger, he got hit AFL, he copped some concussions.
Yeah.
Then he was ridiculously susceptible to concussions because most of them, some of them weren't even cricket related. He was playing soccer and he got like did a header or something, and then he got concussed. And I think his threshold became so low that you literally couldn't get even grazed on the head.
Yeah,
and then
a lot of it wasn't even like impact. It was like him diving and then just
diving.
Just like I guess his brain bouncing around inside as he took the dive, like any kind of sudden movements, he was getting a concussion. Like
he needed to for his own. I still worry about him getting. I mean, like in 20, 30 years, if he cops. But I mean, hopefully he now gets healthy with it, because I think he's still having some symptoms as well. Still with concussion, he was saying he was struggling. But yeah, wish him all the best. It's a very, I mean, what could have been thing. I mean, you see this a lot in sport of people, injuries and everything that what could have been. But yeah, and this is not his own doing. I mean, like a guy like Jared Hayne ending his career early. I mean, it's probably Jared Hayne's fault. This could have been something different.
Yeah,
he could have been the next Michael Clarke.
I thought you were going to say the next Jared Hayne.
Yeah. And yeah. Especially now we don't have a good or settled opening pair.
Yeah.
And as good as Constas is, I mean, he's not in the class of Pekoski, so yeah.
Yeah, sad time. Sad thing to end it on. But on happier times, happy birthday, Michael Clarke.
That is, it's something to be celebrated, even if there's no one there.
Yeah.
We will celebrate it.
I'll have some cake tonight for you.
Same, actually, yeah.
Goodbye. Happy birthday, Michael Clarke.
Yeah.